Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a new challenge series here on the channel. And what I mean by challenge series is we're just going to take a hard bait, we're going to paint it, get it all clear coated up, take it to the lake, and see if we can catch a fish on it. It'll give us an excuse to do some more painting tutorials here on the channel, more opportunities to hang out, and it'll also give us an excuse to drag the boat out, put the camera on the boat, do a little bit of fishing. That's always a good time. So that's kind of what I have in mind for this series. Now, this is going to be a little bit weird if you've watched these videos back to back, but I'm doing two different videos. I'm filming it with this same intro because I just got a new phone, and the way I film my videos, I film them on an iPhone, and I have a mic set up that plugs into my iPhone. Well, the problem with that is going from a 14 to a 16, they changed the port here on the bottom from the Lightning to the USB-C, and now my microphone setup will not work, so we're going to have to get a new setup for the new phone, but this is just going to be some content in the meantime until I can get the mic set up, hopefully within the next week or so, and do a little bit of testing on that. But don't be worried, we're going to have plenty of content here on the channel, but these are going to be two different challenge series videos. Probably launch them in the same week, but we're going to paint two different patterns on some S-cranks, and then we'll take them out to the lake and do some fishing with it. It'll give you an opportunity to paint some patterns that I paint here in the shop and how to paint it the same way I do if you want to use the same materials, or maybe you want to mix it up, who knows. But that's what we're doing. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get over and do some painting. All right, guys, the first color we're going to be using is Createx. It is a pearlized pearl silver. 5308 is the number on that. And we just have our clear S-crank here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and go down the top for the back, because I'm going to do an underlying silver scale, and I'm also going to put it on the belly because I'm going to shoot chartreuse over the top of that. Get this out of here. I don't think we really need that. And see if we can't get this going. I'll try to stay out of your way the best I can, but it's a little hard when you're working in a tiny box. So all I'm doing is just going down the top and the back with this. I've got my gun open pretty good. And we're just kind of going to go down and kind of just leave the middle open more than anything. So get that going. And then I'm going to do the belly. And it's okay if some overspray gets up on the bank, up on the bait there. And we're just going to go a little bit here. And we're just going to let it flow into each other, make it look nice and natural. And now that we have that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat set this, and then we're going to come in for a second coat. We have our heat set done, and now we're just going to continue to do the same thing we just did a second ago, going down the sides, down the back. I'm going to hit the nose a little harder this time. That gill plate. I'm just kind of following this line that's here in the bait. And we're just going to keep doing that. Now, going to shoot some more on the bottom section. Kind of up on the sides. The only thing I'm doing is just leaving the middle clear because I want some translucency there in the middle. So I'm going to leave that fairly clear. And we're just going to have a nice base for our next colors. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Back looks nice and finished. Now I'm going to heat set this and we'll move on to doing our next color. Our next color is going to be this fluorescent yellow, which is kind of a chartreusey color from Createx. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to go down the bottom side and we're just going to have to work through this the best we can. Get you guys centered up. And I'll try to stay out of your way, but let's see if we can get this bottom to go a nice chartreusey color. I may have to back this gun down a hair. Let me tweak that. And we're just going to do a nice light even coat, and then we'll come back and do some more after we heat set. We don't want to run in this stuff because it's very easy for this stuff to run. And we're going to see if we can't get this to going. And this is going to be a color we're just going to have to build kind of in layers, but there is our first layer done. I'm going to heat set this, and then we're going to keep adding to it. All right. We have this heat set now. I'm going to come in and just keep building on it. I want it to just come up and get right up on that edge where it rolls over. But I want it to be nice and bright. So because of that, it's going to take a few coats. You can do this over white, but it's harder to manage the overspray if you just do opaque white on the bottom. I do that sometimes, but you just have to be a little more aware of your overspray. All right, that's starting to look pretty good. I'm going to heat set this and maybe give it one more coat, but we're pretty close. All right, third coat. Start using some more of this on there. I want it to be visible from the side, so that's why I'm kind of bringing it up on the side a little bit. Hit that bottom again. Make sure it's nice and noticeable from the bottom. Fill in any light spots that don't look like they got enough paint. And I'm feeling pretty good about that. Not bad. There we go. I think that's pretty good. You have to make sure you get around the lure holder too, because that can be a little bit of a challenge. I may bring it a little bit right there. Okay. It's hard to get both sides even, but I think that's pretty close. I'm going to heat set this, and then we'll roll on to the next color. All right, for this next step, we're going to be using this netting again. We just have the net covered up with a couple clips, and I'm just pulling down on it. We're going to be using some iridescent from Createx. This is iridescent violet, and it is a great color for the kind of the table rock color. So we're going to be shooting this down the back. I've got my brush dialed in about where I want it, and I will see if I can't get this going down the back. This iridescent color just looks awesome over silver. Let's see. And then I'm just going to bring it down the sides just a little bit. I don't like to get it onto the gill plate if I can help it, but I do want it to come down the sides just a little bit. We want that nice and filled in. Try not to get any light spots in it, because if you do, it's hard to get the mesh to line back up. So, okay, I feel pretty good about that. I'm going to heat set it, and then we'll do a little bit of a scale reveal. Okay, I've taken the clips off of this. We're just going to lift it up, let it peel off of there. And now you can see we have our scales. This is a little bit lighter than I care for. You can see a lot of silver in there. So what I do is just come over it with that same color and just darken it up a hair. Kind of hide some of that scale texture. I don't like it to just jump out at you too much. That looks a little bit cleaner to me. That's just a trick I've found. I feel like that works pretty good. I'm going to come in with some black and do some stuff around the eye. We're going to put a shad dot on it, but we are a little bit closer. All right, so we're going to put some black on this thing, do some detail, and a shad dot. We're going to be using opaque black from Createx, and we're just going to go around the eyes. Get some detail in the eyes here. I'm going to go into the nose a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. I'm going to go right on the edge of that gill. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Maybe my airbrush will cooperate. There we go. A little bit of black right here on the edge. Go up on the nose of hair. I'm going to leave the very front of that nose clear, and then I'm just going to shoot a tiny bit over the bridge here, kind of connect them together. All right, that's what I wanted with that. I'm going to heat set this, and then we'll put our shad dots on. Okay, now that that's done, let's put our shad dots on. Make sure we like how we're shooting. Scoot this over. I'm going to find the gill plate and then just come over just a little bit and darken it in. Okay, there is our shad dot. And then I'm going to rinse and repeat and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, let's do the other side here. And there we go. Nice shad dots on both sides. Now we're going to mix up some UVLS with some 8-bit product. This is the reducer we're going to use. It's 4012, and then we're going to use some UVLS clear and gloss, both Createx products. And now we're going to use some 8-bit hollow shift. This is the hollow shift powder in Joker HS-617. Going to take the lid off of this and find my screwdriver that I can use to rake some of this off in here. And we're going to dump some off in this. I'm going to be fairly liberal with this one because I've used this before and I like it to show up good. Now that we got that in here, we're just going to mix it with the screwdriver. We want to make sure we get all the clumps out of it because clumps will jam up the airbrush. Give it a good mixing. And it's going to be a little bit hard to tell in this cup. But yeah, that looks pretty good there. This is a green to purple. Best I can tell, that's what it looks like to me. Looking pretty good. All right, now that that's mixed up, we'll put some of this in the airbrush after running some cleaner through it. I would recommend running cleaner through your airbrush before you switch to a color or a UVLS per se, just to make sure that you get all that paint out of there. All right, we have some rain coming in, so I'm going to try to get this done before the rain gets too loud in here. I've got this in my airbrush now, so we're just going to start coating this bait with the UVLS, and we're going to go pretty heavy on the back because that's where we want most of the color shift to happen. And then we'll just eventually get down and do the whole bait. But most of my attention is going to be on the back for now. I'm going to give the bait one solid coat and then start building up the back mainly. We'll do heat sets in between as it gets that white milky color to it. And we'll just keep going over this a few different times. For the second coat, I think I'm just going to primarily focus on the back, on the purple section, the side, and the head. And we're going to get that color shift in there. And it's just going to take a second to show up. But we are getting there. It's getting nice and sparkly. Okay, we'll come back in with a third coat. Third coat is on there. Getting nice sparkles down the back now. That's what we're looking for. Just enough color shift for it to show up real nice. The iridescent and the purple already has plenty of color going on, but it is nice to add to it. So I took this cup of UVLS and I had mixed it in with that Joker, which was the kind of a green to purple color shift. And I liked the way it looked, but I wanted something a little bit more. So what I did is I took this Crown Royale and mixed it in there, and it gives a perfect purple to green. It is just an amazing, beautiful color shift down the top, and it's just so hard to pick up on camera versus what it looks like in person. It's absolutely stunning. You can kind of see that green shift going down the bait there. Looks really amazing in person, and I am very happy with that color combo of those mixed together. Okay, let's pop some eyes on this thing real quick. Use a little bit of Loctite super glue gel. Tap that in there. Grab us a 7mm eye off of the sheet. Stick it to my knife here. See if we can't get it to go on there. Okay, Give it a little bit of a press. That is the beauty of a bait that is. I love the color shift going down the back. It's just kind of a hint of green and some sparkle, just enough to give it some nice definition there. And you can see that flash of green across the face and across the body even right there. Hard to pick this stuff up on camera, but it truly does take stuff to the next level, especially when you get it in your hands in person. But it is tricky to film. She's stuck to my hand there. There we go. We'll slap an eye on this other side. Grab this. See if we can't get this eye to go on there. Okay. Give it a little bit of a squeeze, and there we go. Ready for epoxy. Beautiful looking bait for sure. Here's a final look at the finished product before we hit the water, but they turned out pretty amazing if I do say so myself. There's one. There's a fish. Don't think he's very big. I ain't seen him yet. Oh, he come off. There it was. I had him hooked in the top of the mouth. And he came off. Wow. Alrighty then. That proves that that one works. There's a fish. Oh. I barely got him hooked, I think. Nope. Get in here. Yes. All right, guys. Hello. Hello. Dang, he's mad. Mission successful. How about that? Hey. 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 Why don't we calm down here? All right, let me get some pliers and get him unhooked. But as you can see, he wanted it. Okay, there he is. He ain't a big one, but he did come on the old table Rock Shad. Yeah, on the old table Rock Shad. Not too bad. All right, we're gonna let him go. All right, check that one off of the list. All right, guys, we got to test out some baits out here. Caught a few fish, had a good time, especially given that the weather isn't really the best here today. But I had fun regardless. Got to test some new stuff. I got to test some new paint schemes, things of that nature. So I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Think about sticking around. I sure do appreciate it. The channel couldn't do it without you, so we appreciate all your support. If you want to buy any baits from me, there'll be a link in the description below to my website. You can head on down there and pick up some baits. I'd love to ship them out to you. And all that money gets to go back into the channel to keep making this content for you guys. So thank you guys for all you do. I appreciate you. And until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one.